Okay, well, my name is David Berkowitz, and I'm currently in prison doing multiple life sentences for a series of murders which happened back in 1976, 1977. I've been incarcerated for 39 years, approaching the 40-year mark, and my story really is a story of tragedy and triumph. It's a story of a lot of hurt and pain, but thanks to God, a lot of peace and forgiveness. And I've seen over the years many miracles that have happened in my life, in the life of some of the people that were hurt by this tragedy. And as a Christian in prison, I've seen God do many wonderful things in the lives of the prisoners here, reuniting them with their family members, helping them to deal with guilt issues and all the things that I'm dealing with myself. So I've been there and done that and suffered along with them. But this story is really, although there's some very sad parts to my story, I believe that it's a story of forgiveness and hope and triumph, and that ultimately whoever hears me speak now or watches this, that they will take away something that some insight that they never knew before about childhood struggles, growing up overwhelmed with periods of depression and self-destructive behaviors, as well as my adolescent struggles, as well as the good things that happened, because I really had a life of growing up as a kid in the Bronx. I really had a life of adventure there, and many good experiences as well as bad ones. So it's a bittersweet story. It's like a tale of two cities. And so this is really what I want to share. And I really don't know how to begin, except to say, well, I guess I'm beginning right now, come to think of it. But I'd like to begin by sharing some portions of some letters I received a number of years ago, back in 2001, 2002, from a woman who lost her daughter in the last of the so-called Son of Sam shootings. This young woman, Stacy Moskowitz, tragically lost her life in 1977. And of course, after I was arrested, there was tremendous hostility towards me from the public and of course from the families of victims and so forth, and that's perfectly understandable. Over the years though, as I moved on with my life, having come to prison and going through this whole ordeal, it was always on my heart, especially after I became a Christian myself, to somehow reach out to the people I had hurt in the past, I hurt in my time of ignorance, and I said, God, make a way for me to just let these people know, whoever they are and wherever they are, how sorry I am for what had happened, and how I, pray for them and hope that as much as possible they can heal from this. Of course, no one ever fully heals from losing a loved one, especially losing somebody in a crime, during a crime of violence. Nevertheless, that was always one of my highest prayers, that somehow I could make peace with at least somebody from that time of my past who was tragic, who was hurt greatly. And over the years, thanks to well, of course it was God that did this, but also I thank a journalist by the name of Maury Terry, who was used by God, I believe, to help me to reach out to this one particular person. And this is Mrs. Moskowitz, Nissa Moskowitz, whose daughter, Stacy, was killed in that last shooting. And it was a dream come true because contact was made through some friends in Georgia who had been a Christian couple in Georgia who were friends of mine, and reached out to her and established a friendship. And eventually I was able to write to Mrs. Moskowitz, to Nissa. She always wanted to be called Nissa. And so I was able to write to her, and we developed a correspondence, and we even spoke on the phone on a handful of occasions. And it was a time of great healing and everything, and really this was a miracle of God. If you think about how miraculous this is, it's not something to be taken lightly. It doesn't happen every day where the mother of a murder victim would forgive the person in prison. But this is exactly what happened. And I just want to share a couple of, I have a bunch of her letters and plus more that I didn't bring. This is the correspondence I had with Nissa. These are her letters to me. Over the time we corresponded, I sent her maybe a dozen or so letters, maybe a few more than that. And, but these are some of the letters she sent me, and I just want to read portions of them because they're so nice. This letter was undated, but it's around the year 2001, 2002. And she says here, I really am sorry it took so long to answer your letter. And then in another one, this is dated December 6, 2001, Mrs. Moskowitz says here, David, as I told you before, I don't hate you anymore. All it got me is sickness, and I don't want that anymore. I have a lot of love in my heart, and I even forgive you. And when I got these, these letters, it was just mind-boggling to be in my prison cell, opening the mail and reading letters like this. And then she goes on to say in this letter, I am sorry about my handwriting. It is really bad. It is. I had to underline this stuff because I'd never find it otherwise. But I can't help it. Thank you and your friends for praying for me. I need all the prayers I can get. And then in another letter, this is dated December 21st, 2001, she says, Dear David, I hope this finds you in good health. I am also glad you told your father about us being friends and talking to each other. Davy, you have to call me more often as there are things I have to talk to you about. And in another beautiful letter dated November 18th, 2001, she said, Betty, that's the woman who reached out to her, that's a friend of mine, Betty and her husband Rex. Betty told me you liked the letter I sent you, that it really made you feel good. Davy, if there's any way you can call, please do so. I am doing some praying here, even as I write this. I know there is a chance for us to be friends. It is up to you. You have my phone number, so please use it. And actually, we did call a number of times. And in a letter dated January 3rd, 2002, she said, I felt great talking to you today. And in another letter, let's see, these are other letters that are undated. She said to me, David, you in your own way and is a gift from God. And then she went on to say, with us, David, it is going to take time and patience getting to know one another. Would also like to talk to you over the phone. Sometimes the phone is easier to talk. Again, this is up to you, and here's my phone number. And she told me what time to call in the mornings are best and so forth. And as I read these things, as our relationship kind of blossomed to an extent, it was really just something I can never stop thanking the Lord enough that here was this woman who was so badly injured and lost her daughter much earlier through an accident. And then she had 3 daughters and a husband. Her husband had passed away after 2 of the daughters had died. She lost her younger daughter. Then, of course, in 1977, she lost her older daughter, Stacy. But she had a middle daughter named Ricky, a very beautiful and attractive woman who had gotten very sick and had some kind of wasting disease and did pass away, leaving Mrs. Moskowitz, Nissa, with nobody in her life. She was living in Florida at the time this correspondence was going on, and she said, "Davy," and this is so poignant and so touching. She said, "Davy, you and I have a big job ahead of us. We are going to teach people how to heal and forgive people. You and I know what it takes, that it may take years. But when people see it and see you and I united as friends, I know in my heart we will be doing a truly wonderful thing." Look at all the healings we can do. This is what I'm saying. I believe it. I said, I can't believe this. Here's this woman who should be so angry and want to hate me forever. And in the past, she expressed nothing but rabid hatred for me, and justifiably so. But look what God has done. This is a miracle. She says we need to team up and let people know about this forgiveness thing so that others could be healed and learn how to forgive. And I'm saying, oh God, this is like mind-boggling. And she says, look at all the healings we can do. It could even happen to your pals in jail. It could happen to anyone, anytime. Wow, that was encouraging. And then one last letter here. Thank you, Davy. You are really trying to make me happy. I have not felt this way in years. Thank you again for making my dreams come true. You are giving me back my kids. I could love you for that alone, and you will see all the good stuff we are going to do. Just remember, Davy, we are going to start a trend, and a good one at that. After all these years, we will start a good trend. I believe that with all my heart. I know I am smiling on the inside. You are truly making me very happy. And then she said, love, Nissa. And then she adds, think of all the good things as you can do. You will show people that if I could forgive you, why not other people forgiving each other? And our correspondence went on for a while, and we were supposed to one day meet. Hopefully we were going to meet here in the prison. Unfortunately, a media person got involved in that and wanted to film the event happening live and commercialize it and sensationalize it. I immediately disagreed to do that. I felt that if Nissa and I were going to meet, that it would be just private in the visiting room, just the two of us, and maybe some friends to be there just to support, but that it would not be a thing for the media, not be something to commercialize or sensationalize. They had promised her, she was living hand to mouth on Social Security. She was very sick at the time. She passed away shortly after this. I think in 2005 or 2006, she passed away with cancer. And my friends spent time with her. They actually traveled down to Georgia to visit with her, and then she was gone. We never got to meet, and she was disappointed in that because someone who wanted to do this had promised her a lot of money, but I felt that still it was the wrong thing to do. And I declined, and she was upset with that. But nevertheless, I believe in her heart she forgave me, and she had wonderful hopes that we could start a trend. And well, that's just a miracle. That's something that happened in my life. That's one of many true miracles, and I thank God for that.